This is Magnus Carlsen's most disrespectful opening of all time. Alireza Firouza is white and he goes for a London system. Everything's normal until move 5 when Magnus Carlsen plays the move F6. The Ben-Feingold counterattack. What's the idea? After knight F3 you go G5 and then you follow it up with H4, threatening to win the bishop. Why did Magnus Carlsen do this? One reason: maximum disrespect. It's like when I, Dr. Mike, send a love letter to my one true love, Sophia Vergara, and she doesn't get back to me. Ultimate disrespect. No, Magnus, you can't do that. In this game, Alireza Firouza goes for a London system, but Magnus has no respect for his opponent. He goes for the Ben-Feingold counterattack F6. What's the idea? It's simple: G5, and one move later, H4. Magnus has no respect for Alireza Firouza. It's like when my girlfriend offers to cook me dinner, but then she overcooks my steak. Ultimate disrespect. Now I know what you're thinking, but Dr. Mike, what if you just plays H4? No! Alireza plays the move H4, then Magnus plays even more disrespect. G4, followed by E5, taking the center. And at bishop E5, E4. What the heck is Magnus doing? If you're asking that question, you got it all wrong. This opening is not about playing good moves. No! This is about Magnus freaking Carlsen disrespecting his opponent in the best possible way. And there is nothing more disrespectful than beating the London system with the moves F6 and then G5, the Ben-Feingold counterattack. This is Magnus Carlsen's worst knight sacrifice of all time. In this position, Magnus Carlsen plays the move knight c5, sacrificing the knight. What's the idea? D takes, queen takes, and Alireza Firouza loses the queen. There's just one problem. After knight c5, you don't take with the pawn, you take with the knight. Then after b takes knight e3, suddenly white is threatening to sacrifice the knight. Let's say Carlsen wastes a move with a5, then Firouza plays knight takes e5, sacrificing the knight. Then e takes, queen takes. What's the idea? After king c7, Firouza takes the rook. Rook takes, and white is up a rook. In this position, Magnus Carlsen went for the move knight takes d4, but that is not the best move. The best move here is f4, blowing open the king. Now white has to go knight c4, but then Magnus Carlsen takes the pawn. F takes g3 with check. Now king h1, queen takes d4, but there's just one problem here. White has the move knight b6, chucking the king on the rook. King c7, knight takes a8, king b7, queen takes g3, and in this position, Alireza Firouza is in control. This is the greatest rook sacrifice of all time. In this position, Magnus has the e6 pawn defended twice. So what does Alireza Firouza do? He sacrificed the rook. Rook takes e6, and no matter what black does, Magnus Carlsen loses the queen. If Magnus goes rook takes e6, Alireza plays the move rook takes f5, and the queen is pinned to the king. Here, if Magnus goes queen g7 just retreating, then Firouza plays queen takes f5, king g8, rook g6. Instead of that, if the queen takes the rook, you play rook takes king e7, and then rook e5, winning the queen pinned to the king. This rook sacrifice was so devastating that Magnus Carlsen immediately retired from professional chess. Psych! This is the most cold-blooded move of all time. Magnus plays rook d4, hitting the queen. But does Alireza Firouza freak out? No! He plays the cold-blooded move queen to c1, hitting the knight and ignoring the king. What's the problem? Magnus goes f4, and Firouza takes the knight. But now after f takes g3, the king is on the run. That king is more nervous than me on a first date with a girl who's just my type. Now Firouza's king has to retreat to g1, but suddenly after rook e d8. The rooks are doubled up, the h-pawn's gonna fall, and black is gonna checkmate white. Or is he? Here white has the most cold-blooded idea you will ever see. The idea knight e3 defending the d1 square, and after queen takes h4, knight to f1 defending h2. And suddenly Magnus Carlsen has no attack. Here white has the most cold-blooded idea you will ever see. The idea knight e3 defending the d1 square, and after queen takes h4, knight to f1 defending h2. And suddenly Magnus Carlsen has no attack. The cold-blooded queen c1 ending with the even more cold-blooded knight to f1. Wow, what a move!